to Section 3 of Unit 1. So still under the overview of financial markets and institutions as well as interest rate fundamentals, we are going to consider the overview of the regulatory framework of the financial market. So by the end of this session, you should be able to identify and summarize the various regulations in the banking industry of Ghana. So specifically in the insurance industry, the pensions market, the Ghana Stock Exchange market, as well as the foreign exchange market. To ensure efficiency of all financial institutions, or basically of all institutions, realize that all institutions need to be regulated. So in the banking sector, we have the Banks and Specialized Deposit-Taking Institution Act 2016. It's also known as Act 930 or 930. So it's an act regulating all institutions that are into business of banking and special deposit taking. So a bank is, as we've learned earlier, a bank is a financial institution which takes deposits as well as grants credits. So the main motive of the bank is credit creation, in the sense that it makes credit available to borrowers from those who have the funds in excess. So the banking sector is the main funding source for all market players. So the banking sector's sustainability is key to the growth and prospects of the entire economy. So here we are saying that in the banking sector, where we have learned that surplus units come to deposit their funds, for deficit units to come and make use of those funds, it can be intuited from this notion that the banking sector plays a very key role in the sustainability of all economies. So the banks ensure that credit is made available to everyone based on a regulated procedure. So the Banking and Specialist Deposit Taking Act of 2016 has various regulatory frameworks or various procedures to ensure that all financial institutions or any party who wants to register a bank goes through a procedure to ensure its success, as well as the success of the funds of consumers as well. So a specialized deposit-taking institution is a body which engages in the deposit-taking business and is issued with a license to engage in the deposit-taking business in accordance with Act 930. So here we are saying that any institution or anybody that wants to engage in deposit-taking or a deposit-taking business is issued with a license which grants the ability for them to work in accordance with Act 930. So some of the important acts regulating financial institutions are Act 930, Act 931, and Act 773. So under Act 930 specifically, the Act covers the amount required as capital for banks to start operations. It also takes into consideration the ownership and control of the banking sector as well as the supervision of the bank. So the Act specifically details how the ownership of the bank should be, also how the bank should be supervised, as well as how accounts of the bank should be kept audited. So The Act creates a framework to ensure that everything goes under checks and balances so that the interest of consumers as well as the ownership of the bank is protected. And we also have Act 931. So this act was made and specifically covers these thematic areas. So it covers the establishment and membership of the deposit protection schemes as well as the insurable deposits, the premium and then the payment of compensations. So the Act 931, which is one of the acts governing the financial institution, basically looks at financial provisions for the Ghana Deposit Protection Corporation. So we realize that under every corporation, there's a need for a united front to ensure that they work in a collaborative motive. So we have learned that at 930 talks about the ownership, the control of the financial markets or the financial institution. But Act 931 on the other hand looks more on the collaborative efforts of the bank to ensure that it is working in line with the agreement of all banks acts in Ghana. So another key act regulating financial markets refers to the Borrowers and Lenders Act 2008. So since we have act protecting ownership and then the creation of wealth, interests of borrowers as well as lenders should be protected. So the act specifically covers the rights of the borrowers, the disclosure of their information, as well as other related matters concerning borrowers and lenders. So some of their confidential information they might not want to disclose for general public, and the enforcement of the borrower's obligations. So all these things are contained in the Borrowers and Lenders Act, and it's also known as Act 773. The Pension Act 2002, 2008, sorry, is also known as Act 766. So this act basically covers retirement needs. Realize that people work and then once they get to 60 or based on certain circumstances, they get into retirement and then there's a need for an act that protects their savings. And so this particular act protects these retirees, their financial resources they may have invested into the bank and how these funds are supposed to be given back to them. Also, we have the Security Industry Act, which is Act 929. So the Security Industry Act ensures that the trading of various securities are based on fair and sound judgment. So the Act promotes growth and development of an efficient and fair as well as transparent security trading. So realize that if there are middlemen involved, how to deal with these middlemen and how to ensure that consumers are not cheated on the market. The Security Industry Act protects or covers all these areas. So the Foreign Exchange Act. So we have already learned that in the Ghanaian market, there are points where you trade with other foreign currencies or other currencies outside of your known legal tender. This act was made to regulate the trading of financial or foreign to prevent consumers from being exploited, to protect the interest of other consumers, especially when they need these foreign currencies to engage in certain transactions. The Foreign Exchange Act spells out various procedures as well as underlying principles to guard the trading of foreign currencies. The Credit Reporting Act 2007, also known as Act 726, also deals with the following thematic areas. So basically, on the supervision and regulatory role of the Bank of Ghana, as well as the operation of credit bureaus, the operation of and protection of data from customers, as well as it deals with the complaints and penalties that corporates face or corporates are supposed to take once there is a default. So when we talk about the bureaus and everything, one may not know that there is an act protecting them, but the Credit Reporting Act covers all these areas and ensures that there's efficient operation in all these areas. And we also want to look at the Insurance Act. So realize that for an insurance, a person wants to protect his or her property or his life or any item at all. And for the insurance, we know that there's life insurance, there's third party insurance, and all those things that based on what the insurer wants to insure against, the insurer goes to the insurance company, and then based on an agreement they follow to keep and ensure that that particular item is protected. So the Insurance Act also inspects and enforces and ensures that whatever the insurer wants to protect is that which is protected. It also ensures that everything about insurance, whether motor vehicle insurance, life assurance, the motor compensation, and everything that covers insurance are well attended to so that both the insurance company and the insurer would be satisfied. So the last act we want to look at is the Non-Bank Financial Institution Act 2008, also known as Act 774. So all these SUSU operators come under the Non-Bank Financial Institution Act. So since they are also dealing with savings mobilization as well as transferring funds from surplus to deposit units, there's a need for an act to protect all these or all their operations. So the Non-Bank Financial Institution Act protects the money transfer services, the deposit taking microfinance services. So specifically, it covers their capital, their liquidity, and their other requirements in order to register as a non-bank financial institution, their ownership, their liquidization process, as well as the powers of supervision and control. So these are some of the various acts supervising or regulating our banking sector in Ghana. All too soon, we've come to the end of session 3, and in this session, we've learned about the major regulatory framework for financial systems of Ghana. So we've learned that all these regulatory frameworks covers both the banking or covers beyond the banking. It extends to the insurance, to the pension, to the Ghana Stock Exchange, as well as the foreign exchange market. And we have gotten a clear understanding about the fact that all these financial institutions are regulated so that both the objective of the owners and then the interest of customers or consumers will be protected. Thank you and see you in the next session.